Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is episode 291 of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call it online marketing moves, and we are coming to you live today. Today is Friday, May the 28th, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend might be here, but the work never stops. You know what I mean? Don't stop till you get enough. Come on. But anyway, today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about why you should focus on the journey, not the destination. Ladies and gentlemen, it is story time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to travel back to the year 2000. Ladies and gentlemen, what were you doing in the year 2000? Me, myself, I was serving the nation's, I was in the military, protecting your freedoms and rights to do God knows what, to God knows who. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it was a Saturday. Sometime we'll say around this, it had to be the summertime. Summertime 2000, your old pal here. I had a Saturday. My friend, he had duty. He was stuck on a ship. He had to work. So me and myself, normally I was an early riser anyway. We used to get up at like 9 or 10 o'clock on Saturdays. So I got up, got my book bag ready, had my CDs, my CD player, my headphones. We all ready to go. Had my extra T-shirt I carried with me, and my book bag, and away we went. And so I went to, I was living in San Diego at the time. So in the military, we are based on. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ever get a chance to go to San Diego, go check it out. It's a very lovely city. You know, my two favorite cities in in America: San Diego, California, and Savannah, Georgia. If you ever get a chance to go to both, you should go check out both. And I love them for different reasons. If San Diego wasn't so expensive, ladies and gentlemen, I would have probably lived. I could have lived in San Diego forever. It's very nice. I enjoyed the weather. You know what I enjoyed more than the weather, actually? This is the first time in my life that I lived in a city where you could take public transportation and you could get around quite well on public transportation. So I was always hopping on the trolley, always catching a bus, going here, going there. So I was like, I thought to myself, I would get an apartment, live on, get an apartment, get a job somewhere close to the trolley, and just do that the rest of my life. But, it didn't turn out that way. But anyway, it's a beautiful city. You should go check it out. But anyway, let's get back to the story. We're focusing on the journey and not the destination. Now, so I had really no plans. So I got my book bag, left the boat, got on the trolley, went up to this mall called Fashion Valley Mall. So I'm at Fashion Valley Mall. It's about noon. And so I say to myself, let's go to the movies. So I go to the movies, get my popcorn, get my soda, watch a movie, come out. I think I went to a park. I probably went and got some lunch, meandering around, going around San Diego. Because as you well know, you live in a place, you want to go you want to go check out all the sites. So I'm just sort of fiddling around doing that. And then I was about to head back to the boat to just to go back because I was like, it seems like a good time. It seems like a good time for early to call it the night, And then I met these two young ladies, and they was like, hey, and I'm like, hey. And at the time, talking to people on the train was a real thing, you know what I mean? Because wasn't well, I know I didn't have a cell phone then anyway, so who am I going to talk to? And plus, back then, if you did have a cell phone, most of the people were like, call me after 9 o'clock. So we had a conversation. These two young ladies, they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing, about to go back home. And, they were like, oh, we're going to go here and have dinner. Do you want to come with us? And I was like, sure, why not? I don't mind having dinner with you two ladies. That seems cool. And they seem like nice enough people. So we went We had some dinner, and then they said, "Hey, the night's young. Why don't we go hang out?" I'm like, "Where are we gonna go?" And they say, "Let's go to Tijuana." And I said, why not? Okay. So, me and them, we went to Tijuana. We went to one club, we went to another club. We was having a nice time. They was dancing, laughing, giggling. So I left the boat at like 10 a.m., 11 a.m., something like that. And um, you know, I didn't get home until 1 p.m. the next day. You know what I mean? And so we was in Tijuana all night, and then they was like, "Let's go get some, let's go get breakfast." I said, "Sure, why not?" And so I remember we went downtown, and I never forget this part. We went downtown, and back then, well, I don't even really drink now, so I was sober the whole time, but they was drinking and stuff and laughing and giggling and doing all this jazz. I think one of them had broke up with their boyfriend or something like that, but this was no kind of romantic situation. It was just a nice time with these two strangers, you know what I mean? And so they said, "Hey, let's go get breakfast or whatever." And so, we went back, and this is back in the day where you could cross the border back and forth without any worries. You know what I mean? Like without any, all you would have to say was you would come across, you would catch the train, the last stop, and you walk across this bridge, and it was like welcome to Mexico, which is still to me this day. I every now and then I call one of my friends. I'm like, "Man, remember we just used to just go back and forth like every week across to another country? Like it's crazy." But on the way back, all you had to say was they say citizenship. You say United States, and they're like, "Come on in," And so it was fun times. We went to like 3 or 4 different clubs, and then we went to go get breakfast. I mean, we was downtown San Diego. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning, and so I'm walking, and I see these cameras. It's like a video shoot, and I'm like, what is going on? And this guy was like, "Hey, could you move to the left? Whatever. We're about to film." And I was like, and then I remember I said, "Hey, do you need any extras or anything like that? That'd be cool." And then he was like, "You know what, man? If you was 10 minutes earlier, you could have been in the video." And you know what music video was? It's kind of cool. It was a Green Day video. I don't know if you're familiar with the group Green Day, but Green Day was shooting a video downtown San Diego. And I remember, like a few months later, I was just having to be up one night watching MTV, or MTV was on or something. And I saw the video, and I was like, holy smokes. I just saw them shooting this video. Like I watched, like the girls, they went, I was like, "Hey, I'm going to sit here for a few minutes and watch a music video because this is kind of cool. I've never seen anything like that." So I got to watch Green Day do a shoot a video for a few minutes, and that was neat. And then we had breakfast, and then they were like, "What do you want to do now?" And I'm like, I gotta go. I actually gotta go to bed, or I gotta go to bed because I'm about to get up in the morning. I have a job. I don't think they were employed, so it's like, I know you got all the time in the world. They was like, "Oh, call us, and the next week we'll get together." Of course, that never happened. But the point of the story is, if I would have just been worried about getting back, or worried about, what am I gonna do next, this, that, and the other, this whole night would have never happened. And I never would have met these two people. I mean, of course, I never seen them again a day of my life, but hey, it's not the point of the story. The point is, I just woke up that day and I said, "You know what? I'm gonna go out. I'm just gonna go out and see what happens." And a lot of the times, that is how you get started with anything. A lot of times, a lot of us, you know, are nervous or afraid or too scared to just sort of take the first step, take the first step when it comes to action, takes the first step when it comes to the journey. So focused on the destination. You can't make $1,000,000 if you can't make $1 first. You know what I mean? Like you have to make $1, then make $100, then make $1,000, then do that, then get consistent with it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us are so focused on the destination. Like what you can't go from Atlanta to Los Angeles, in 2 seconds. You gotta go, you gotta go through Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Arizona. It's different states you got to go through. So take it one state at a time. Take it 1 mile at a time. Take it one step at a time. And so I know sometimes in this podcast we discussed this before, but these stories sometimes help you refocus. They help you regroup, and they help you remember that, hey, man, it's not about, hey, one man, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about you enjoying the process. You know what I mean? Like the more you enjoy the process, the better off you will be. The better off you will learn. The better off you will grow. And you know, there are plenty of stories like that I have that I could share with you about me. Just you know, I used to just this is even growing up. I would just leave the house, no plan, no rhyme, no reason, no nothing. And those days, for some reason, were some of the funnest days of my life. Like that day, I never forget that day because it was a nice time. It wasn't no, you know, these these ladies. It was no, you know, we're gonna get to know each other. This is all, it was nothing like that. It was, hey, let's go out, let's dance. They had a few drinks. We're gonna have a nice time. We're gonna enjoy each other's company, and then that's it. Like it was a short it was a short journey. No, it was a short destination in a long journey of life. You know what I mean? Like, I met them and it was cool, it was nice, and it was great. And just remember, I was like, it never would happen if I would have just sat around and like, I don't know what I'm gonna do today. Let me plan out, let me plan out, let me plan out. And sometimes you can get stuck doing that. You can get stuck planning so much that you just don't go forward. You just don't take the steps. You just don't focus on the journey. Like the journey is beautiful. Like I promise you. This this whole I was thinking about this last night when I was driving, and I was cussing the heavens. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking to myself, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I thought to myself, I was like, God, if you listen, I can't wait to be home every day. And I know that we all have those thoughts sometimes and we all want to rush it, you know what I mean? But for some reason, things happen for a reason, Some things just happen. And it's no there's no, you know, hey, why am I not where I want to be? This, that, and the other. It's a process for all of us. It's a journey, and there's no time limit. There's no time stamp. There's no, you know. I remember when I first started the podcast, I used to tell myself 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. And then I was sort of, try to tell the audience, oh yeah, in 3 months I'll be, but it's not real. I can't lie. I would be a liar if I say, oh, I have a plan and I know 3 months from now I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be in this position. No, I'm going to set myself up so I can be in a position like that. But we do that on a daily basis. You know how we do that? Because we produce content on a daily basis. Now, like I told you before, and I will say this. Sometimes it's like yesterday. No, the day Wednesday. Wednesday I did a podcast and I thought, you know what? I said, this is a good podcast. I said, this is one of my best podcasts right here. And the downloads were low. And I said, you know what? Whenever I think that I have slayed the beast, whenever because it's not often. Like I know we produce good content. I know we pump out good content. I know every day is not a home run. Some days singles, some days, doubles, some triples, couple home runs. Not, let's not get carried away. But it's solid now. You know what I mean? Like we're on solid footing. And so Wednesday, I thought, boom, I hit a home run. I said, boom, you know what? This is great. I knocked it out the park, and not so much, but you know, you come back the next day, the day after, and you produce some more. You keep putting your foot forward. You keep traveling along the journey, and you will be amazed at what can happen as long as you just keep going on the journey. I'm telling you, life is beautiful. Life is full of twists, full of turns. Life will take you to some unexpected places, especially, like if you're, just now getting out of your mom's house or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that. And me personally, I will tell you this: if you are under the age of 30, even especially if you're like under the age of 25, you know what I mean? Like if you have a good relationship with your parents, live with them as long as you can. Okay, listen. Don't let society tell you what you should and should not be in life. I don't care how old you are, personally. You know what I mean? Like my brother, he lived with my parents. He moved back home for a while because he needed help. He needed help with raising his son because he was a single father. You know what I mean? And my brother would tell me, one day he said, "Man, I'm just kind of embarrassed, and I'm living with mom and dad," and I'm like, what's embarrassing about it? I'm like, it's nothing wrong with that. I'm like, they helping you out, man. Like you helping them, they helping you. Like it's nothing to be ashamed about, nothing to be embarrassed about. Like it's cool, man. You know what I mean? Like it's okay. It's not a big deal. He's just like, come on, man, but you got your own. I'm like, but I live 500 miles away. Like, who am I gonna stay with? Like I ain't got no choice. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a choice. I have to sink or swim. Like I have to. I can't. I can't. I don't have any relatives that live around the corner that will let me stay with them. So for me, it's like nah. But for him, it's like they helping you out. So nothing wrong with that. So I know this is a little, you know, we're talking about journeys and stuff like that. But never be ashamed of your journey. Never be ashamed of your situation. You know what I mean? Like if you're 39 and you what if you file for divorce? You're going through a divorce and you have a money troubles and you have to move in with your parents or your brother, your sister. Like, man, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Ain't no shame in that, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with where you started. There's nothing wrong with where you're going. You know what I mean? It's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad look for you. So, the journey is long and time is time is infinite. Like we have time. Like I said, some clocks expire. Some people expire faster than others. That's it, man. That's it. And you just have to. You can't be one of those people that say, "Oh, when I'm gonna get started." No, get started now. Get started today. Get started as soon as possible. You know what I'm saying? No, get started today. Figure it out. Throw you. It's like it's like a newborn animal. They flounder around, but they start walking or they start swimming or they start whatever. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't take long. Birds get the little wings and cheep cheep cheep. After a little while they learn to fly and that's it. Like it's I don't want to sound preachy or nothing like that, but it's it's amazing how people think like they can't do something. Like there's a blockage, like it's nobody blocking you but you. You know what I mean? There's no wall, there's no gatekeeper. You know what I mean? Like it's just like now, you want to be a comedian, grab a camera, like tell a joke. Like they got all kinds of internet comedians now. Like you can make it, like you can do it. There's nothing stopping you but you. Content can be produced. We all can produce content. I mean, and you want to do it on a regular basis, and it's part of the journey. And you will see changes in you. You will see changes in your content, and you will get better. And you know, things will get live, and you'll be amazed at where you can take yourself, like where you can go. And yeah, just don't don't focus on the destination. A lot of times, man, that is one of the worst things. That's one of the worst things that we can do. I'll tell you this: whenever I first started driving trucks, over the road. The first 2 years straight, I'll tell you this. The first 2 years I was on the road full time. I had no wife. There was no wife, no girlfriend, no nothing. It's just me and the highway. And I learned, I remember. Now that was later on, but I remember when I was watching one of the Fast and Furious movies when Diesel was like, I always live my life a quarter of a mile at a time. And then, when I'm driving down the highway, I used to think, when they would give me an assignment, they would say, you got 700 miles. I go, 700 miles? Jesus Christ, what am I hollering? Bleep, 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 bleep. Am I going to get that 700 miles? Well, if you just shut up and if you shut up, crank the truck up and get it going, you could get 700 miles down the road. So, after about a couple of weeks, I stopped all that complaining, and I just, they give me the load, they tell me where to go, and I go, all right, is it? And so now, I remember one time I had to go from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Los Angeles, California, and I was like, just gonna have to do this, 500 miles a day, and by the time before you know it, and man, it was a Friday. I think I picked up oil, okay, some WD-40, picked that up, and I remember Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday afternoon, I was pulling on in to Los Angeles, California. So, everything is not about the destination. It's just about the journey. And I enjoyed myself on the way. I went through, what did I go through? Like Kansas and Nebraska and, Utah. And I remember I was on I-15. I went through Las Vegas. And, it was a nice time. It was a nice time. It was a real nice time. And then that's the one time I thought, man, I get paid to do this. Like, this is kind of cool. But, like, it's a process. It's a journey, man. It's not a, hey, trust me. Like, I haven't went to sleep yet. Like, I came home and I had to do some work, and had to do some straightening up and try to do the pool, get the pool all blue for the wife, and all that kind of stuff. And I gotta get up in like 4 hours, 5 hours, and listen. Trust me, I wish my journey was. I wish I was at the destination of full time, online, internet marketing. You know what I mean? But we're not there yet. So unfortunately, I have, it's, it's not what I'm looking for, but it's part of the journey. Like, all this is part of the journey. Like, when I do become full time internet marketing, I can always hark back and tell people, hey man, I was at where you're at. I worked the job and try to do the internet thing, and eventually I got it. And when I got it, it was beautiful. Like, it was a process, but it happened, and it can happen for you, and it can happen for you. You just have to be consistent, and you just have to focus on the journey and not the destination. Because if you keep focusing on if you keep looking and looking, you'll get frustrated because you're not there. You're not exactly where you want to be. And then that's when you start thinking about quitting and getting all upset, getting annoyed. But don't do that. Just think about the journey. Have a nice time. Take a deep breath, take a swig of water, and keep climbing up that hill. Oh yeah, before we get going, I had the strangest dream last night, ladies and gentlemen. For some reason, I had a dream that I interviewed Beyonce for the podcast. Oh, I'll tell you what. Before I woke up yesterday, I was dreaming that Beyonce, I was interviewing her for the podcast, and then I said, right now my audience is not the biggest, but I got a bad feeling that when this podcast drops, things are gonna change. And man, did they ever. We recorded the podcast. It was a great interview, by the way, too, with Beyonce. And we got a lot of, I'll tell you what, we had like 1 million downloads of that episode. And so I woke up. I laughed, and I said, man, that is wild. That is some wild stuff you over here dreaming about. I said, first off, we are here dreaming about the podcast. Man, I've come a long way. We've come a long way, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll let you know whenever Beyonce does want to come on the show. Beyonce, Oprah. Let's see. Who else? Who else would you like to see on the podcast? Meg Ryan, maybe. Barbara Walters, Diane Sawyer. I mean, who you want to see on the podcast? Geraldo Rivera, Richard Simmons. Look, who do you want to see on the podcast? I'll see if we can book them. I remember before we get going. One thing I will tell you: whenever you start producing content, don't just whenever you start producing content, ladies and gentlemen. If you're already producing content, the one thing I don't want you to do, you don't have to make anything up. I remember I told the audience, told my audience, I said, yeah, soon. I was like, yeah, in about a month or so, two, we're gonna get a producer, I haven't even thought about getting a producer yet, this podcast is going so well and everything's going, fine, and we are getting more and more listeners on board the mothership, you know what I mean? Like we're gaining momentum, that having a producer or anything like that, or interviewing people, it really hasn't crossed our mind. Like I interviewed my wife, which she was great, you know what I mean? But I know eventually we're gonna start doing more of that. But right now, I'm enjoying you. I'm enjoying the podcast. I'm enjoying our intimate setting. I'm enjoying the relaxed atmosphere that we have, because eventually, as all as all programs do, a lot of the times they go commercial. You know what I mean? They go Hollywood. When is that gonna happen for us? I don't know. Will you still like it? I hope so. But for right now, it's me, it's you. With the family. We're out here. We're out here with the little engine that could. We're going up the mountain. With the best podcast. Well, of course, as you well know, we are the best podcast of 1, 2, 3 galaxies, but we're also the best podcast that people never heard of. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. But yeah, whenever you start producing content, you don't have to tell your audience, hey man, I'm quitting my job in a month. I'm be full time. You don't have to do that. You don't have to tell them. You don't have to tell them anything like that. All you have to do is just tell your story, come up with some good ideas, come up with some good content, some good material, and go for it, and you will be better. You will be better off that way. All right. Don't try to big up yourself, because I even chuckled when I said it to I was like, yeah, I probably get a producer. I'm like, producer? The heck? Man, you better hope you finish this podcast. You better hope you keep going with this podcast talking about a producer. So, I just, after the year mark, we'll go back and reevaluate everything. But, y'all keep that in mind whenever you want to start producing content, whenever you want to start making these YouTube videos and all that stuff. You don't have to fake it to make it. It's all right. People will like you anyway, If they like you, they like you. If they don't, oh well, forget about them. All right. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the podcast. Enjoy the journey and don't worry about the destination. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back tomorrow with an all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, if you haven't already, ladies and gentlemen, go subscribe to the podcast so you can get it every day. Download it, enjoy it, share it with your friends, share it with your family, your mother, your brother, your sister, your uncle, everybody, as we say in Missouri. Everybody, okay? But with that being said, my name is Tony Rizzano. Oh, yeah. Go to the YouTube channel. Check out Tony Rizzano. Go to the Facebook page, Online Marketing Moves. Like the page. Follow the page. Email us, tony@onlinemarketingmoves.com. Let us know what you think. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you want us to talk about on the show. And we might think, and I'll think about it. We might talk about the subject. We might not. It just depends. All right. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the episode. That's it. We out of here. My name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. And as always, everybody, peace.